So the Maroondah network of schools have always worked quite closely together, and at the end of 2014, Deakin University approached us about becoming what they called an alliance as part of their Academies of Professional Practice model, which is all around reshaping pre-service teacher training. So we really jumped at that opportunity to expand our community of practice and have a university involved with the 10 schools that would become what's known now as the Ringwood Alliance. So the university had an idea for the fourth year pre-service teachers placed at our school to be part of an innovation project.
The pre-service teachers usually come to schools and they tend to follow their lesson plans and use the resources that their mentors would otherwise give them. And so what we're doing through this project is allowing for them to gain a deeper understanding of what it means to be a classroom teacher in the entire planning process, from pre-assessment all the way through planning sequences of curriculum and differentiating for students. So they're definitely a lot more classroom ready and they're able to experience the entirety of that process. We
wanted to look at an area that's been a challenge in our schools, and I think for schools generally, which is the role of ICT in education. So research has shown that despite the fact that we've lived through one of the greatest technological shifts in history, it hasn't really made any significant improvement in student learning growth, which we all find fairly remarkable. So we wanted to take the opportunity to look at why that might be so and to see if we could shift that a bit and see if we could find a meaningful role for ICT in maximising student learning growth. All 10 schools felt that they'd like to see improvement in numeracy.
So as part of the Ringwood Alliance project, fourth year pre-service teachers have been involved in schools in the curation of digital resources to help develop capacity and improve student outcomes in numeracy. Curation essentially involves our pre-service teachers finding and researching digital resources that target particular student learning needs and allow students to access learning at their very own point of entry.
We're looking at digital ways to pre-test kids and lay them out on a collaborative spreadsheet for teachers to look at and identify student needs. And then we're looking at curating the best digital and non-digital resources in a meaningful way that empowered teachers to be able to target those student needs.
There has been a very big increase in student engagement because we're not trying to hit the middle mark in a class, we're actually hitting their point of need and then tracking them as they go through. As they finish a concept, we're then able to progress them on to the next one without having to wait for the rest of the class.
So instead of a teacher-centred lesson where a teacher might be presenting the same lesson and differentiating it maybe to a higher, middle and lower group, we were really challenging ourselves to say, right, we know there's a 4 to 5 year academic spread between the bottom 10% and the top 10% of kids in any one of our classes. How are we meaningfully going to address that, and how can we equip teachers to really get to a point where they feel like they can target student needs in a meaningful way? And we're finding really strong results, particularly at the lower and the higher end of the spectrum. So where we might have students working 1 or 2 years above level, we've planned for that in advance and we're targeting them, we're moving them along. So the aim, of course, is that every student has at least 12 months growth, and the same for the students at the lower end, that we can identify exactly where they're at and exactly what 12 months growth looks like for them.
Before, students would wait to be told what to do next. This way they're able to see what's next. We have tracking sheets that are set up both with teachers and with the students as well, and they're able to know what the next concept is and they can move on to that a lot more quickly. It's been a big change on teacher practice. We've had to move from the oracle at the front to actually engaging one-on-one or in small group situations, and that's taking some time, but when we see the engagement from the students, that enthusiasm encourages us to keep working on that sort of model.
To be part of a team that's so passionate about children and about learning is very exciting.
The children just love coming to school, our numbers are growing, and the community is seeing us as a school of excellence.